Hi everyone, welcome back to another installment of an Expert's Guide to Path of Exile. So here we are at the beginning of Act 4. Before we get into it, I've been neglecting to say this, but I do want to ask if you're enjoying the content, if you've learned a good deal, if you feel like you yourself are on your way to being an expert in this game, Path of Exile, a like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers, and that would be quite a milestone to hit. So I believe we're something like 0.1% of the way there already. So it would be really nice if you could help us out and maybe be the one to push us over that threshold. So please consider it. But of course, your mere viewership or even just listening is enough on its own. So I thank everyone for whatever you can provide. 10,000 would be good. Okay, so Act 4. Here we are on an aqueduct. It's where the city of Sarn used to get its fresh water, or water at least. And as usual, we got some ghosts up here. And we cross on this boat, getting attacked by some giant vultures. So you kill what you want. Again, if you want to stay here and level for a while, you can. If you're too lazy to go back to the ledge, which is the optimal leveling strategy at this point in the game. But if you don't feel like doing that, this isn't a terrible place to farm. You can drop some interesting divination cards. We will talk a lot more about those. I believe that they can start dropping now in Act 4. They were added when this act was added. And basically those are tarot cards that that once you have enough copies to form a full set, and the set size varies. Some of them are as low as 1, others go up to something like even 20, I think. But most are less than that, something like 5 or 7 or something. Once you have a full stack, you can turn them into a very shady monk in this town, or someone in your hideout, who will then give you an item that is usually deterministically based on whatever the card is. So there could be one to drop a chaos orb. Okay, let's stop here and fight this 100-foot shadow giant monster. It could be a piece of armor, it could be a currency item. Sometimes there are degrees of randomness built into that, but they are pretty important for farming in the endgame. And here, Act 4, the Aqueduct can drop some decent cards, but it's usually not recommended to spend much time here. Once you get the levels that you need, feel like you're strong enough to take on the Act 4 content. But if you do level here and you happen to get a couple of those decent cards to drop, then that's a nice bonus. So it's not a terrible idea. All right, so we got some dead blackguards here. And there's a note there you can read. So I think it was the Emperor sent this guy to guard the way and take control of the town up here, and that didn't go too well. But let's enter Highgate. So Kira, she's not too nice. Check the notice board. Okay, nothing going on. These are some Imperials that fled here together. We need to get into the mines here, and we can't do that yet. We need some kind of special item. But we'll talk to the leader of the town here, and Lady Dial is already here. Talk to her. They want us to pick up this banner that's in the dried lake. So we talked to Tasuni. He's a good guy, and he's the one that you turn in divination cards to. Okay. So I am going to store some items. So these 4-link gloves might prove useful later. They're just normal, but the 4-link is worth keeping. I'll check the sash. Yep, that's better than the one I got. So I'm going to switch that in. This life flask, I don't need it. I'll sell some items for these people. So this jewel, I'm going to identify it. So it gives you attack speed with claws and projectile speed. So that wouldn't be useful for me. So we'll sell that as well. Dump some of our currency items. This flask, amethyst flask, gives you chaos resistance. I'm not going to use that. And let's spend our skill points. So remember, the big thing we're headed for, the shield wheel over here. Our last travel node, dexterity, and here we're on the wheel. Take that. So we got 1 point left. So you decide which way you want to go. This over here gives you more chance to block, and you actually recover life when you block. That's pretty nice, especially at this stage of the game. 30 life is quite a bit. Later on, it's almost nothing. Or you can go this way first, which gives you more attack damage while holding a shield. So we're going to go with that first because we're doing okay with survivability. 2 more points to get that, that big node, and then we'll decide if we want to take this or not. And then we'll be able to take the mastery skill as well. I believe just getting 1 notable skill in the wheel is enough. So we just get this one, then we can take a mastery, and then we'll think about if we want to get this side or not. Eventually we will, because we're going to be playing a block build in this case. But it may not be useful, as useful at this point early in the game, so we might decide to go with something else. We'll see. But we have our next 3 points spelled out, at least. So we're going to head down to the dried lake. And it's truly a shame what happened here. An environmental disaster. Used to be a beautiful lake, flourishing ecosystem. It was drained dry, of course, by the Empire of Sarn back when they were still around, to feed their insatiable lust for water. So because of that, we now have this desert dried area instead of a lake. And naturally, monsters have set up shop because of that. Okay. Now, you'll see that yellow icon on the mini-map. That's a beast attacking us. And this guy named Einar is helping us. He actually showed up in Act 2. Can't remember if we discussed him or not, but he'll be useful later in the game. So we'll cover him once we get to maps. Okay, here's our first divination card, the Fletcher. I'll pick that up. Yep. These birds won't leave me alone. Okay, and you can see here it's 1 out of 5 for a drill neck, a corrupted version, which is a certain kind of quiver. Used to be an especially good item, but it's for bow build, so it's not going to be useful for us. I just picked it up to say something about what the how the divination cards work. So now we're here fighting yet another emperor, this guy Vol. So he's from a different empire. So we defeated Dominus at the end of Act 3. Here in Act 4, this guy is in some kind of ghost or monster, undead form. He was at one point, for a short time, the emperor of Sarn back in the old days. And he was actually ruling when the cataclysm took place. You might say it's all his fault, in a certain sense, and he wouldn't be completely wrong. I'm going to grab Deshret's banner. And the Dried Lake used to be the premier spot for leveling. So people would come here and they would just farm, right? Level up, kill monsters. There's decent density down here. Now, I still think that the ledge is the better bet. And it's more aesthetically pleasing, it's more fun, there's some challenge to it. Here's another beast. Take down, see if they drop anything. A kite shield, I'll check it out. So it's not the worst idea to stay here and gain some levels if you like. I'm not going to spend much time here, but just for purposes of demonstration, I'll show some things. Pick up a jeweler's orb. And let's finish out leveling up these gems, and then we'll head back to town. Oh, I'm out of monsters. Okay, we got the last 2 gems leveled. So let's drop a portal scroll, head back to town. See if that shield's worth anything. Armor, some resistances. Yeah, it's pretty decent. A little better than what we got now, I suppose. So let's equip it. We want to get our pride and our molten shell back in. Put those in and remove some of the items that we don't need. You can sell the shield, I'm just going to destroy it. And then we come up this way. So Nico, he's a minor NPC, very impressed. We just opened the mines by using the banner, a sort of key. And we can go up here, talk to Lady Diala, she's happy, and Oyun, the leader, gives us a reward for getting the banner. Now these are golems that you can equip, little guys that follow you around. I'm not going to use one, but I'll take the flame golem. We'll head back down here to our stash. Okay, that's about it. Spend our 1 skill point. We are now 1 node away from retaliation, this notable passive, which will be a nice increase to our damage. But before we enter the mines, I think I'll stop. I hope you learned a lot. Next time we're going to head into the mines. We're going to look for the source of the trouble. We're going to try and find the stuff that Lady Diala asked us to locate. And if we do find that, it will be both exciting and terrifying, to be quite honest. But we'll leave that for next time. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.